I'm testing out. Oh, testing out now. This type, like this view, this um, Streamlabs, I guess is what it's called. But so my plan is to try this for podcast, see how it works, see if it's better than OBS. I mean, honestly, I just want to make sure how it works. Well, how it looks. Here, average bitrate too high. Can't really even see myself. It's just good. Don't let me refresh this. See. Okay, bet. I mean, you can completely see me. Okay. I mean, that's good. But anywho, welcome to Yap Sessions with me, with your boy Marco Martinez. And yeah, I mean, let's kind of just get started. I mean, today we're going to be talking about, this may just come out of surprise, but about men's depression. Because of this whole election, many people from very far left aren't handling things correctly. And so, I mean, not saying that I'm over there supporting, if anything. I mean, I'm just kind of just really telling you what's going on. And so a lot of people have been talking about like mental health contributing to that, the way some people are expressing themselves. I guess you can say not what gender or whatever. I'm talking about the way they're lashing out, the way they're overreacting on some things. And so that's why in today's episode, I wanted to talk about men's depression. I've talked about it before. I've talked about my own experiences before. So I'm gonna just really I'm not gonna talk about myself too much. I may, but not a lot. Just more so, just kind of the overview, I guess you can say, of just men's depression. I'm trying out doing a script because I always I want to mix it up. I want to talk about I want to use a script, kind of get myself on the right topic, but then also just kind of just talk really. It's kind of just help myself get a little bit organized, just help. But according to the American Psychological Association, men with depression are less likely to openly discuss feelings of sadness and hopelessness, which is true. How many of the viewers, which I mean, there's none right now, active, live, none, but listeners, the ones who will listen to this, how many of you guys are too afraid to really speak out about your depression? Whether it's you seem sad, just whether it just be like a normal type of sad, and what I mean by that, like the weather just makes you feel sad because you want it sunny and it's rainy, so it's just like, oh man, like I wish it could be sunny today. Like just like that type of sad is okay, but I'm talking about like more you feel weak if talking about your feelings, like whether it be like what is it, like you're not feeling the greatest, or like how I just talked about in a previous episode of what the hell was it? Man, how am I forgetting a lot of this shit? Hold on, let me. Wow, why am I forgetting this? Nope. Why? Imposter syndrome. When I was talking about imposter syndrome, whether it be like in a job, let's say you have started a new career in a whole different field, you feel like you're not supposed to be there, or not just career, or just in life, you feel like you're not supposed to be there. So you almost create scenarios to make yourself go back to where you were comfortable. Like, let's say if you've always been struggling and always paying, always have been paycheck to paycheck, and then all of a sudden now you got promoted in your job to where now you're making a lot more, or you went to a whole different career and you're making a lot more there, or something, to where now you start having money to actually spend, and then it starts getting to a point where you have money in the savings, you have money invested, you can just go get yourself a new TV without you worrying about, oh man, should I pick the TV or should I pick some bills? And you almost start getting into your head where it's like, wow, this feels nice, but it feels like I'm not supposed to be here. Like the having a symptom of the imposter syndrome, and how that's where I was with real estate and still currently am. But then I started getting a little bit depressed because then I feel like I start telling myself I feel like I shouldn't be here, and I then start beating myself down. Even though I did what I could to be here, then I start beating myself down and everything. But I don't feel like talking about it sometimes to people, because then I feel like I'm just bothering them. It's like, you don't want, I shouldn't tell you about my feelings because it'll bother you, and I'll look weak. So that's kind of how I've been when it comes to some of that. But I mean, again, that's me. That's just me. Because in some ways, on what true depression can look like is, being irritated a lot, anger, risk-taking behaviors, or even just physical pain like backaches and headaches. Because probably why sometimes I have headaches, because and why sometimes I'm always so damn sleepy a lot of the times, like tired, even though I got myself an 8 hours of rest. But I will find myself in the day too tired to be doing anything, and I have been told that is linked to depression. So that could all be a part of that. But this is, obviously one of the biggest issues surrounding men. Because for a long time, society has always placed expectations on men to be tough it out, and to man up in the face of adversity. And there's this deep-rooted cultural idea that men need to be strong, self-sufficient, and emotionally stoic. Fortunately, these stereotypes can lead to men suppressing their emotions, avoiding mental health treatment, and feeling ashamed of their struggles. That's why us men have a very high suicide rate. Our reasons like this, because quite frankly, a lot of us just feel like we can't, because there's this whole thing about stoicism, and you're just basically calm and collected almost 99% of the time. Don't show any emotion and whatnot. And it's like that works in certain situations, but in others, it is okay to show emotion. It's okay to cry in front of someone. It's okay to be angry in certain situations. It's okay to show love in certain situations. It's okay. You don't have to do that. It is okay. But what more can we really do? Because another barrier to men seeking help is the idea that admitting they have a mental health issue could somehow make them seem weak and unmanly, like I was just talking about. But here's the reality. Taking control of your mental health is actually a sign of strength. When you confront and work through your difficult emotions, you're not just taking care of yourself, you're setting an example for those around you, which is always good. The better you are mentally and emotionally, the better your life will get. Because if you like to blame everyone for your own situations, if you like to blame people for your own situations, what are you doing? Nothing's ever going to get fixed. Or especially if you're like, oh, I'm this way because of my parents. You're that way because you chose to be that way. I'm not saying that because of your parents, like, oh, your dad was an alcoholic, to the point where he would beat you up, so now you have to be an alcoholic and beat people up. No. You can drink here and there, or you can, for casuals or whatever, but learn how to self-control on that. And if you do get drunk, make sure like make sure you're not hurting other people or yourself. Or just don't do it at all. If it's an issue and that you very fucking hate, then just don't do it at all. Learn how to control it. Just fix yourself on that. Take care of yourself mentally and emotionally, and really just create a better life for yourself. Because let's talk about the numbers. In many parts of the world, the suicide rate for men is several times higher than for women in the US. For instance, men are almost 4 times more likely to die by suicide. This isn't because men experience depression more than women. It's because men often don't reach out for help. And like with me, I'm scared to reach out for help because there are times where it's like you reach out for help and it somehow then becomes a problem. Like where you can't even talk to people about your emotions because now it's a problem. Like if you're in a relationship where you can't even then speak to your partner about your emotions because they get angry, they cause a fuss, and instantly tell you, fine, then we should just break up. It's like, well, how are you so big on talk to me? Like wanting to put my feelings into considerations, and then the minute I tell you about my feelings, oh, then we should just break up. Like, no. That, like, where's the help in that? Where's the journey in that? That's just you not taking responsibility on your emotions and not wanting to take my feelings into considerations that now I don't even want to speak. And so I feel for people that they can't do the same thing. And so instead, depending on what it is, to them, they just feel like ending it is the better solution. Because men tend to rely on coping mechanisms that aren't always healthy. Studies show that men with depression are more likely to use substances like alcohol and drugs to self-medicate. This not only worsens mental health symptoms, but can lead to physical health problems and strains on relationships. Kind of like what I was just talking to you about prior, where there are people out there, both men and women, not just men, but men in general, tend to drink a lot more than women. But there are men who take the drinking a little bit too far to the point where once you start becoming a day drinker, and like, yes, you get drunk every night, but once you start becoming a day drinker as well, that's when the problem starts happening, if I'm being honest. So, because depression doesn't affect the individual, it affects families, friends, and workplaces. When men don't get help, their relationship and productivity and overall quality of life can suffer big time. Like, big time. So how can we recognize the signs of depression in men? Remember, it doesn't always look like the typical symptoms. Some red flags can include increased anger or irritability, risk-taking behaviors or sudden recklessness, avoiding friends or family, withdrawing from social activities, physical symptoms like back pain, headaches, or digestive issues, sudden changes in weight, sleep, or appetite. If you notice any of these signs in yourself or in a loved one, please, for the love of God, take a closer look. Depression isn't something you can just snap out of or ignore. It's a medical condition that needs attention and treatment. And for someone who struggles to reach out, when someone does reach out of nowhere, just says, how are you? I always say, oh, I'm pretty good. What about you? But they actually sit down and say, no, how are you? Like, I've noticed that, I noticed that you were crying not too long ago. Like, why was that? It's like, oh, just life in general. They're like, oh, well, tell me about it. Like once someone has an ear that they can talk to, that will actually listen, it almost just calms you down. It weakens the mind of wanting to do something about it, like end it in a way. Like talking really is a good medicine. Which legit gets into my next one. Like, encourage open conversations. Just let them talk. Listen, let them talk. Avoid judgment. Listen without trying to fix their problems right away. A lot of men fear judgment and don't want advice. They just want understanding. Be patient. It can take time for someone to open up. Don't push too hard. Just make it clear that you're there for them whenever they're ready. Encourage professional help. Therapy, counseling, or support groups can offer men a safe space to talk and develop healthy coping mechanisms. I myself am thinking of going back to therapy. It's fucking expensive, but I myself am thinking about going back for reasons like that. Or I'm scared to talk about my feelings and a bunch of other stuff, my anxiety to certain situations, and just a plethora of other things. My money situation, like I want to talk to someone about it that isn't just gonna judge me, that isn't gonna say, oh well, then quit this career, quit that career, quit doing this, quit living over here. It's okay. What can we do to fix this? Like mentally. So, that's mine. That's my experience on something like that. Because if you're a man experiencing depression, remember that you're not alone though. Taking the first step toward getting help can feel scary, but it's one of the best things you can do for yourself. Try to open up to someone you trust. If you don't have anyone that you can trust, I'm sorry. It probably hurts to not have anyone to trust, like whether it be friends or family members. That's when I feel like you should then go to therapy. Talk to a therapist that will listen, but make sure they're not just judging you right off the bat or giving you like suggestions of, oh, this is how you can make your life better. It's just try to find one, because you're not always going to find the right one the first time. Try to find one that you're like, okay, like, thank you. I really needed this. I really needed to talk. Oh, okay, you can come back later. Like that, but thank you though. Find someone who's willing to do that. Try to open. Oh, I just read that. My bad. But small daily steps can help too. Exercise, sleep, and a balanced diet can impact mental health in a big way. Start with one small change and see how it feels. Over time, it all adds up. And that is a good one. Exercise. I know it can seem pretty stereotypical when many people talk about it all over like TikTok and Instagram and whatnot, but it's true. It can be very relaxing and very motivating, because if you are depressed and let's say if you're depressed on the way you look, your physical appearance, once you decide to start once you start to work out, you may say, and you remain consistent with it, and you start seeing results. Oh, it boosts your ego. I'm just gonna say it. It boosts your confidence and it boosts your ego, because then you're like, oh my God, I'm down 20 pounds and I can actually see it. My cheeks look smaller. My right here, like my neck, looks smaller. My stomach looks smaller. Like I can actually fit into more of my clothes better. Then you start going more. Now you've lost 30 pounds. You're like, oh my God, I'm down a size. I'm down a size now. And oh my God, your ego gets fed so bad, but your confidence shoots up. You guys have no idea how much your confidence shoots up. I myself need to, I myself need to, what the hell is it? Go back to the gym. Like I can't, like I'm big. Like I am a big boy, but I need to deal with my money problems first before I can honestly um, really get back to the gym. And that's probably my fault as well, as going back to the gym, like making the excuse about I don't have the money for the gym. I can go out for runs and walks and whatnot, but to me, I don't know. I just feel more comfortable in the gym, but that's me. I'm making excuses. I know. I'm sorry, but I mean, hey, I mean, I hope. I mean, people can hear. I mean, I hope. Oh yeah, you can hear me just fine. But I mean, I guess. Anywho, I mean, thanks. Thank you to. My bad. I don't know why just can't speak right now, but thank you to the listeners. I mean, I see that I have one viewer, so I appreciate you seeing this. The one viewer, thank you. The listeners, obviously, once this gets edited and put in the podcast, go ahead and enjoy it. But other than that, I really appreciate everyone here. I love you guys, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.